Tonight on the DNVR Broncos post-game show, 10 in a row, number 1 seed, and a stress-free win on top of it all. Talking about that and much, much more in just a few seconds. Let's go. Accomplished in the National Football League, and the Broncos have done it, and they did it in a stress-free way that everyone wanted in every way except for the final score. We'll talk about that a little bit. But you are listening to or watching the DNVR Broncos postgame show presented by Bet365. Shout out to them. Bet365 paid me handsomely today, more than they've ever paid me ever before. So shout out to them. Get over there and use the code DNVR365 deposit. $5, you get $150 in free bets. All right, Broncos beat the Raiders by 7, which is, in the immortal words of, I believe, Al Michaels, significant to some.
Hank, how you doing over there, bud?
Not doing great. Not doing great. I thought I was going to be doing really well, and then somehow something happened, and I am not.
Yeah, all-time bad beat. I'm sorry, Hank.
It is what it is.
The Broncos roll. Broncos win. Really should have been potentially a 24-7, 31-7 final score. Benny, what's your immediate takeaway from the 10th Denver Broncos win in a row?
My immediate takeaway would be the Broncos came and they handled business. They went on the road to Vegas. I wouldn't say a raucous crowd, more raucous for the Raiders than the Broncos. It was a home crowd, so shout out to Broncos Country traveling well to Vegas. But I think Sean Payton came in here with this team, and the message was to handle your business. Don't play with your food, handle your business. Now, obviously, the Raiders scored some touchdowns late. You don't want to necessarily see that, but you love the fact that you saw the Broncos get out of the game pretty much healthy, and they did what they had to do. I thought Bo Nix was very comfortable throughout the entire day. I thought he made all the throws. Great to see R.J. Harvey get a bulk of carries and catches, because he is going to need to have that type of workload going into later in the season. This next stretch of 4 games and then going into the playoffs, he's going to have to carry the ball a lot and catch the ball a lot. So I thought it was a really good win. You know, and we talked about it on the watch-along. It was like a bowl game for Broncos-Raiders. Yeah. You know, it was mixed crowd. You know, obviously there were still some Raiders fans in there, but it was very much like a bowl game. I thought, you know, I really loved the fact that the Broncos did handle their business. So, although it was a boring game, I like that.
Yeah.
Because when you are the more dominant team, when you are the more talented team, you want to go in there and handle business. And it was way better than what we saw a few weeks back, the game that we were actually in attendance for. Way better than that one.
Yeah, it was way better than that one. It was boring in a good way. The Broncos were just like quietly in control kind of the entire time. Very stress-free. I would say the only time that I felt really any stress in the room other than the last second, sorry, Henry, is at the end of the half when they decided to not kick the field goal. There was like some consternation about that, like 58-yard field goal. They didn't go for it, so they're only up 7. Could have been up 10 at the half, but really no stress. My biggest takeaway is 2 things, and it goes back to what we wanted coming into this game. Number one thing that we wanted coming into this game was the Broncos' run game to look good, and boy, did it. It ends up being 4.9 yards per carry only because of the last 4th down that they went for it and went for -1 yard, or else it would have been an even 5 yards per carry for the run game today, all led by R.J. Harvey, who goes 17 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown, and that was really, really nice to see. He ran super hard. He ran effectively. He, I thought, burst through the hole incredibly well, and for all of the things that kind of worry you about the Broncos making a deep run, I think the run game is very high post J.K. Dobbins. So for RJ to go out there and have that game was very calming.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you're saying. I think in the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to control the clock. And I thought Sean did a really good job of actually listening. You know, he always has run it at the top of his play sheet. I thought he did a really good job of sticking to the run. And there is no substitute for experience. And R.J. Harvey has to kind of go through it to get to it. I was taught that, and Jamal Crawford actually told me that early on in my career when I asked him some advice on, you know, what does it take to have a long career just as professional sports? You have to go through it to get to it. And I think R.J. Harvey right now, that was one of those types of games where Sean has to commit to, and did commit to, giving him the ball, helping him understand the running lanes, and just get a bulk of the carries, because later on in the season, you're going to have to do that. And when you want to beat whoever the Broncos are going to play in the playoffs, you're going to have to be able to run the ball. You're going to have to be able to establish the run. And I thought the commitment today with the run game actually really opened up the play-action pass. And you saw Bo really efficient, not a crazy amount of yards, but 31 for 38, 212 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I will actually take that type of game. Didn't throw the ball to the other team, dominated the time of possession. R.J. Harvey does really well. And shout out to Prentice, too. Two fullback dives, 4 first downs, one long one where we wanted him to score. He wanted to stiff arm somebody so bad. But
come
just
here.
really good to see.
Yeah, awesome. And then my other part that I thought was really important was Bo Nix looking that comfortable after how uncomfortable he looked the last time they played the Raiders. And you wondered, like, okay, like, are they going to have his number? Is there a chance that they have the Bo Nix game plan blueprint? No. The previous game was a fluke. I thought today was probably the most comfortable he's looked all season.
Yeah.
31 of 38 for 212 yards. Just very, very clean game from him. Really no turnover-worthy plays that I can remember off the top of my head. Just a lot of precision. He was good on the run. He was good checking the ball down when it was there. It was just like a very clean, comfortable, we're the better team. I'm going to go in here and just guide the ship.
When I look at Bo today and I look at the game, all the points that you say are correct. Also, what I think of is that he can digest the film, or he watched the film from the previous game and he actually learned from it. He did look uncomfortable. He did miss throws against the Raiders the last time we saw him play against them. Missing wide open throws, feet looked uncomfortable. So this shows that he can take coaching. This shows that he actually watched the tape, and this shows that he knows how to move forward. So he saw and played against this defense a month ago. A month later, re-looks at that film and is able to adapt and adjust, and now plays a more complete game. Now, he didn't throw a crazy amount of passes down the field, but what I love to see, RK, is what you just pointed out, the checkdowns. Those are the things that I think are just super important to keep and extend drives, and we got a chance to see that today. And one of my favorite plays, it was only a 4-yard pass to R.J. Harvey, but Bo drops back, climbs up in the pocket, throws a check down, like a no-look check down immediately right away. That means he knows where everybody is on the field. He knows that the defense has taken all of the deep routes away, and he found the wide open receiver, or the one thing that the defense can't cover for on that particular play, which is the check down. Those are the things that I love to see just going forward, because in the playoffs, they are going to take your 1 or your 2 away. Definitely your 1. So Cortland will probably be getting double teamed in the playoffs. He's going to have a corner and a safety over top. You have to be able to win with your second and third option, and that's what we saw from Bo today, is just finding the different outlets within the offense.
All right, Henry, you've had 10 minutes to lick your wounds here. So pick yourself up and give us your big takeaway from today.
Okay, I'll stop licking. I'll go with RJ Harvey. That's the one thing the Broncos need to actually be a Super Bowl contender is a real run game. And they had it for most of the year, kind of built through that first month, and then they were able to ride it, and then J.K. Dobbins got hurt, and they just haven't been able to replace it ever since J.K. left. To me, they have everything else. Like, you'd like to see consistency from Bo. You'd like to see maybe a tick more from the defense than we've seen the past couple weeks. But we know they're capable of everything they need to do in order to win postseason games and eventually go win a Super Bowl. The one thing you don't know is the run game without J.K. Dobbins. And I thought today RJ showed so much. We know he has the speed. We know that he has a little bit of wiggle, but to see him combine the speed with the ability to make guys miss, with the power to finish runs, basically every physical attribute you could hope for from RJ, he put on display today. The big thing, though, is that there were flashes of some vision. That touchdown run, for example, big lane on the left. But he noticed it was collapsing. He cut it right back to where all of his blockers were, waited for it to develop, followed him into the end zone. And that's the piece that's been missing for RJ for most of the season. He's shown all the physical traits before. He hasn't necessarily shown the ability to find lanes before they develop. And I thought today, for the first time, we saw glimpses of that at the very least. Again, a lot of those runs, it's, offensive line's going to get pushed. They're going to create like a V for you. They're going to find those 4 yards, and you just have to follow them. There was a tick more than that occasionally, though, where he had to kind of filter through and find lanes, and that's a really good sign moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say this in the midst of a 10-game winning streak, but, the Broncos are a young football team with guys who are still growing, including Bo Nix. He has grown throughout this season. RJ has grown throughout the season. And based on that, there's a chance that their best is yet to come.
I believe that. And, I forgot to say, and Hank just brought up R.J. Harvey being, one of his storylines from the game. R.J. Harvey ran hard as hell today.
Yes.
He was, he wasn't shying away from contact. He was seeking out contact. He was running the ball extremely hard. And then there were times where I think there was one pass that Bo threw him where he should have been tackled right away, and he ends up breaking a couple tackles and getting the first down. So you're starting to see R.J. Harvey come into his own, and Sean Payton talked about, when they asked him about R.J. Harvey last week or a couple weeks ago, that you haven't seen anything yet. And I think he's going to continue to get better. Now, early on in the season, when you're asking, okay, why is R.J. Harvey playing or why is he not playing as much, and, he's coming along slowly, Sean was just ramping things up. He knows that this is a long season, and now I think R.J. Harvey is playing extremely well. He's catching the ball. He catches the ball extremely well for a running back. Just a natural hands catcher for a running back. You don't always see running backs catch the ball that smooth, but he did some good things today. Love the fact that he is staying out there in third downs and pass protection. So it's really good to see that. But he ran physical today, and that was great to see as well.
Absolutely was. All right, let's hit our first break here and quickly give a shout out to our friends over at Aura Frames. And you guys, this is like the easiest, most epic layup gift for your mom for Christmas. Or it could be anyone, but especially for your mom. I can attest to that one specifically because I already got one for my mom, and she's obsessed with it. It's the classic frame that is digital, so you can upload pictures to it, and you can do it from an app. And the way that I do it, actually Allie does it, I can't take credit for it, is whenever we're doing something cool and new, she just uploads the pictures right to the app, and all of a sudden my mom just gets new cool pictures of what her kids are up to without even having to do anything, and they're right on the frame there. She loves it so much. So send us pictures of the pictures in the frame. So just take the layup, get your mom one this Christmas, and use the code DNVR at Aura Frames, and you're gonna get $35 off. $35 off at Aura. That's AURA frames.com with the promo code DNVR. Terms and conditions apply.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Brunt Workwear. It's boot season. It's definitely boot season. Going to Broncos practice this week, obviously we had the first snow of the year, which meant that the, let's call it, third of a mile walk, probably, maybe even more, from the parking lot to where we go into practice, was just covered in snow. And a lot of people had boots. I did not have boots. I only had my tennis shoes, and all those are white. It was a mess. And it's time for me to get boots. It's time for you to get boots, and the best boots you can get are over at Brunt. In particular, if you're somebody who does a lot of dirty work, heavy lifting, Brunt work boots are the way to go. Their Marin work boots are the best selling. They're built for tough job sites. They are waterproof, so whether you're in the rain or the mud or standing water, your feet are going to stay dry. The workshop floor is oily. It's a great option. They've got all sorts of stuff. There's known for the boots, but also jackets, anything that you could need. With temps dropping and the holidays warming up, it's time to treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. Skip the throwaway gifts. Get him something built to last. That's Brunt Workwear. Our listeners also get $10 off their entire order with code DNVR at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com and use code DNVR. Order today. Let them know you heard it here on the show.
All right. Moving on here. Let's actually check the stats presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Look at that. Checking the stat sheet. And I want to go through team stats here because they are awesome. Broncos, 27 first downs to the Raiders, 16. Broncos, 72 total plays to the Raiders, 48. Broncos, 356 total yards to the Raiders, 229. You go through it, more passing yards, more rushing yards. The one place where the Broncos did not beat the Raiders is the one that has a lot of people upset right now, and it's penalties. Once again, penalties. The Achilles heel of this team, 8 penalties for 50 yards. But in the end, they double them up in time of possession, 39 minutes to 20 minutes. Just a very dominant performance by the Broncos, despite the annoying, not so good finish. And here's the stat that maybe makes the most sense for why we're feeling really good about Bo. 7 of 12 on third down, converting.
That's a winning formula right there. I know Broncos fans right now are a little disappointed with the score, but most NFL teams aren't just going to go away. They're not just going to lay down and quit. The other team is still talented, and they would do nothing, and they would love nothing more than just to piss the Broncos off. And then you got guys like myself or guys that are on the fringe of this team that have to play extremely hard to play for next year or to get another contract. So I think, Raiders didn't give up, and they made some plays at the end. So, but Bo Nix, like you said, going back to Bo Nix, 7 for 12 on third down. He looked completely calm in the pocket. He was reading the field extremely well. Shout out to Cortland Sutton and Pat Bryant, his 2 top targets, his 2 leading receivers today. I thought caught the ball extremely well in the middle of the field. I don't know. I think the Broncos, I'd like that type of win. You know? It's hard to dominate and just control and get whatever you want in an NFL game. And I thought the entire game, if the Broncos needed or had a gotta-have-it situation, they executed during that time. And what are we talking about? Like, that's what you love to see. That's what the number 1 seed, that's what the number 1 team in the NFL, at least in the AFC, can do. And you've seen that no matter what teams throughout the years have won Super Bowls or won championships or been dominant, they've had some games like this where they just pretty much control the clock and get in and get out.
Yep. So speaking of being the number 1 team in the AFC, the Broncos now have a stranglehold on that. And that was the big significance of this game today, was if the Broncos were to win, they would have the tiebreaker over the Patriots when it comes to common opponents. Believe it or not, the mighty Patriots, I'm putting that in air quotes, lost to these Raiders.
Do you think the Patriots are frauds?
No.
Okay, wow.
I actually don't. They do a lot of things well that win you football games, including creating explosive plays on offense.
They also have the second highest paid receiver in NFL history.
They do. We learned that today. Stephon Diggs. So the Broncos now have a stranglehold on that if they take care of business. And so I want to kind of just zoom out here a little bit and look at the final 4 games for both the Broncos and the Patriots, who are fighting for this number 1 seed. Broncos next week get the Green Bay Packers, who just finished off a win over the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
And let's see, that puts them, where are they in their standings? So they are now, what do you even call this? A quarter of a game back? Because they have a tie. So they're 1 short. They're tied in the loss column. They're 1 short in the win column. And then they have the tie, which technically counts for half of a win in the win percentage. So they're right there with the Bears to potentially win that division, which means they are coming in to Denver next week with everything to play for. This is kind of the first I don't know. It's hard to say when it's out of conference. It kind of feels like a playoff game next week. Like in terms of the test that you're going to get, in terms of the stakes, you're both fighting for 1 seed type win the division stuff. It's going to be a real knockdown drag out next week.
Yeah, I think, it is going to be a knockdown drag out. I think, all right, so the Broncos have a really good quarterback, and then they got some Pro Bowlers and all pros on offense, defense, and especially special teams. I would say the Broncos or the Packers have the same thing. They got a pretty good quarterback. They got some good weapons on the outside, but then on defense, they got some all pros and some Pro Bowlers. So, a guy like Micah Parsons, you have to account for. Rashawn Gary on the other side, you have to account for. And then they have a great, I wouldn't say a great, but they have a really good receiver room in Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dobson, and Josh Jacobs. That's going to be a real test. The Broncos haven't played a great running back since Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So Josh Jacobs coming in here, and then Matt LaFleur is a really good play caller. And somebody that, I put up there as one of the top play callers. He's in that Sean Payton, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan category in terms of what they do on the inside zone, what they do in the play action game, and what they do with their gadgets. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Sorry, the records hadn't updated yet, so now they are updated. Green Bay is 9-3-1, so they have passed the Bears, who are now 9-4.
Okay.
So they have the half game on them, and they are in the 2 seed. Someone in the comments said they're the 1 seed. The Rams are 10-3, so they have the lead on the Packers. But again, I mean, high stakes football game for a game that's out of conference, which normally the stakes go down. But both teams have so much to play for. And, I mean, dare I say, potential Super Bowl preview type of game?
Ooh. Maybe for the Super Bowl. I don't see the Packers beating the Rams.
Okay.
But
I think that might be the branding that they'll choose for CBS. Where
2 historic teams, too.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 great fan bases, 2 historic teams, 2 young quarterbacks that are playing well, 2 extremely great play callers and understanding people who understand and coaches who understand personnel at the highest level. People who use and coaches who use a ton of different personnels, whether it's receivers, whether it's multiple tight ends, whether it's multiple running backs. It's going to be a chess match between those 2, Vance Joseph versus LaFleur. I think that is something, too, that we'll probably talk about during the week. But how does Vance Joseph and how does this defense now match up against a dynamic Packers offense?
Yep. So the Broncos go there. Then they get the Jags, who are now what? Where are they? Are they tied for first place as well?
I think they're first place in their division.
No tie.
So they are now in first place alone in the AFC South now that the Colts have kind of just fallen all apart. So you're getting first place team next week, a first place team the week after that.
Tim Patrick coming back to the Mile High City. He is going to want to go crazy.
I'm sure he will. And then you get the Chiefs, of course, who play tonight. Hopefully they're just done after tonight.
Well, they might be done in the playoffs, but they'll play spoiler.
For sure.
Or try to play spoiler, I should say.
And then the Chargers. The Broncos
Are the Chargers still in it?
For
the division?
Yes. The Broncos, as of right now, have a 2.5 game lead on the Chargers. Chargers play the Eagles tomorrow night on Monday night.
So Broncos play the Chiefs and beat the Chiefs on Christmas. Division's locked up?
If they keep winning, yeah.
Okay. Wow. All these games are huge.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just about to say. The Broncos are like essentially starting the playoffs this week. Like it's not win or go home, but you're playing in those level of football games every week from now until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Save for potentially whatever the Chiefs are, but it's still the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's still Christmas. It's going to be a big game.
I love the fact that the Broncos got 3 of those 4 at home now, which is good.
Absolutely.
3 of those 4 have to come to Mile High, and I think, like you said, this is now does become a little bit of playoff level, playoff atmosphere. And what no better practice than to get it at home because you will be playing home playoff games.
Absolutely. Okay, so then just quickly to contrast, here's what New England has. They've got the 9-4 Bills going into Foxborough next week.
Beastie game. That's going to be a great game.
Yes, and thankfully it doesn't overlap with the Broncos, so we get to watch both of them. So that's one for them. Then they're going to get the Ravens the week after that. Ravens they're almost dead. So you kind of hope the Ravens win next week. I don't know who they play, but so they go into that 7-7 and kind of scratching and clawing. But then the Patriots finished with the Jets and Dolphins. So the
where's that Dolphins game?
That's at home.
Okay.
So the Broncos have a tougher path, no doubt. It would be very, very nice if the Bills can go in there and win that game next week.
I think they will. I think the Bills their playoffs are basically starting too.
Yep.
Josh Allen, they want to go in there. They didn't expect the Patriots to be that good, and this is also they might have to play each other again. Say the Broncos went out, they might have to play each other. That might be the 2-7 matchup. So, I think Buffalo goes in there and gets it done. I think Josh Allen's going to have to be Superman, which he's always been before, and he's going to have to go in there and play a big game. So, yeah, like you said, going back to New England, they do have the easier road, which they typically have always had because the AFC East is so weak.
Yeah, it's true. Henry, any thoughts on kind of the 4-game home stretch here, fighting for the 1 seed?
It's tough. I mean, that's a lot of good teams. Like, you're not going to play a bad team the rest of the way, which might be good for them. Again, most important is the seeding and winning a bunch of these games, but just going out there and playing against the Packers team, the Packers are favored. They're 2.5 point favorites, depending on where you look. And they probably should be for some reason. So
the Packers are favored in the game?
Yeah.
In Denver?
Yeah. They're a good football team, but you go out there and beat them, all of a sudden, I don't know. You can't say that, like, the 10-game win streak isn't real. Like, the Broncos are obviously a really good team, but if you go out there and beat the Packers, well, then all of a sudden the Super Bowl talk, which already isn't crazy, becomes even less crazy.
Well, I think, like, if you beat the Packers, you're going to go to number 1 in some people's power rankings.
Probably, especially if you just beat them nice and clean. So the concern now is probably the defense. It's just been a little bit leaky recently. I think the way that Packers offense plays, the Broncos kind of get to go back to their basics. They lost their superstar tight end who was giving them 100 yards every game, so you don't have to worry about that matchup. The receivers are good, but you get to kind of play man across the board and like those matchups, so that you get to kind of focus on how you design this run defense. I think in a lot of ways, this really lines up for the Broncos to go out there and play a bunch of man coverage, throw some blitzes, let everybody play downhill, which is how they want to play, and see how that goes against a really good team, which should be a lot of fun.
Singleton and Greenlaw will be tested. Riley Moss, who gets tested every week, will be really tested against Green Bay. Because although they don't have any insane receivers, they got really solid ones, and they all can run routes, they all can play, and they all can catch and do run after the catch. So Christian Watson, big body, big play receiver, fast. I expect him to be on Riley Moss's side a lot, and them testing that out a lot.
This is where I go back to both you and Akib say, it's good to get this winning streak done with before the playoffs. And then I just look at this stretch and I'm like, I don't want to lose any of these games. I really don't. Now, if you were to make a case for one, it would definitely be next week.
Right.
In terms of the best game you could lose. Even saying that out loud, I hate it. And I don't want to lose that game because then everyone's going to go back to calling us frauds. Not that that matters for anything. But it's just as I look at this, I'm like, if the Broncos were to go through this 4-game stretch and win all of those games, the confidence around this team will be insane. I will be so confident that they have all of the makings of what they need to win a Super Bowl.
I think the Broncos already have all the makings that they need to win a Super Bowl, but I think, it's interesting because I didn't know that Talib said that until you told me last week. And the only reason why I say that is I feel like teams who go through a lot of turmoil and controversy throughout the season, which the Broncos have, I would just rather it happen now than say, what happened with Detroit last year, 15-2.
Yep.
Then you lose at home. And then, the Broncos team that I was on or the New Orleans team that I was on where we 12-4, 13-3, dominate, win your division, and then lose your first game of the playoffs. So, these streaks, I just don't want the pressure of the streak on the guys. And then I also think, when you're in a locker room, you don't want to or you don't think. Like, I know they're not thinking, hey, we need to lose real quick to get this out of the way.
Well, none of these guys most of these guys have never been a part of anything like this.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, I like that. They're kind of like naive to it all, I feel like.
Which I think is a really good thing for them. But I just think I just have a lot of caution and hesitation just because I know how hard so the level of pressure that the playoffs brings is already crazy.
Yeah.
They will now be the hunted. So when people come into your building, it's very different in the playoffs. And these guys haven't experienced that yet. Some of them have. But the playoff speed is a real different speed.
It's a different speed. Because Akiv's take on this made a lot of sense to me, which was essentially just like the longer the streak is, the closer you are to it ending. It can never not end.
Yeah.
And so that part makes sense to me. With that being said, though, I don't think it adds pressure. Like, I just don't feel like anyone's...
Because they're not undefeated.
Yes. If you're undefeated, then it's like, oh, you're trying to do something completely unprecedented. But it's like, sure, will it be a storyline that the Broncos win into the playoffs on a 14-game win streak? Yes, definitely. But I don't think it adds any more pressure than you already have, which is just like, if we don't win this game, we're going home.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, that makes a ton of sense because they're not undefeated. They're not going, 18-0 or 14-0. But I think that the fact that you haven't had any losses or you don't, I don't know. I just rather get it over with. I just rather no streak. I don't want any of that in the headlines going into the playoffs. Like, oh, Broncos have won 14 in a row. They've won all these different types of ways. But these next 4 games, all tough opponents, all but Kansas City is a playoff opponent. So 3 out of the 4 are playoff opponents at least, and that will be playing in the postseason. I think things are going to be a little bit different in terms of how these games are now played and called in this last month of the season, which means, there's going to be a lot of situational football, which I think the Broncos have had throughout the entire season, but I think it's going to be ratcheted up a notch, especially what you see out of Green Bay next week, because, they're ratcheting up for the playoffs too. Jacksonville will be doing the same thing. Kansas City will be on the edge, playing on a Thursday night, and then you've got the Chargers, who could be another potential playoff team. So the situational football is going to be interesting to see as well.
All right, before we move on, a shout-out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union, home of this unbelievable PS2 debit card and the Broncos checking account, which is the best that you can get if you're a Broncos fan. And right now, when you sign up, you're going to get $200 deposited straight into your account. That's just a free $200 dropped into your account when you meet just a few easy requirements. And these debit cards are so sick, but you're going to get discounts in the stadium. You're going to get discounts on Broncos gear. So with the playoff push heating up, it's time to lock it down. The perks, the card, the $200. If you're ready to bank like a Bronco, head over to ent.com/DNVR to learn more. Insured by NCUA, membership required. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card and a $100 deposit and activation of debit card within 30 days of account opening. Shout out to Ent.
Also, shout out to Omaha Steaks. I don't want to be biased, but this is one of my favorite of our partners because they send us steaks.
Yep.
They're really good steaks.
They are, dude.
It's really tough to explain. To get I'm not a foodie. I don't eat a lot of foods that are probably that good for you. I eat kind of what's cheap, except for Omaha Steaks because they send them to you and they're just so good. They're not just like any other steak. They're actually USDA certified tender steaks. It actually takes some work to get that certification. It's rare to find. They've also got the other stuff, the burgers, the just comfort meals, desserts. They have like these little apple things that are really good.
Tartlets.
The tartlets. I thought that was the word, I was like, I don't want to be wrong about the word tartlet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so much of their stuff is just so good. Super convenient, great for gifts. America's original butcher since 1917, family-owned company. Incredible reviews, obviously. Send the gift of steak. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. For an extra $35 off, use the promo code Broncos at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, code Broncos.
All right, we're going to go back to the Hank Tank in just a second. But first, can the person in the chat who keeps saying cleaning house explain what they mean by that? Because I feel like they're using it in a positive light, and I've only ever heard it in a negative light. So I wanted to hear what you meant by that. Anyways, Hank, we going top 10 Broncos tonight?
We are, but real quick, curious if the game on Sunday against Packers gets flexed.
Is it possible to flex that?
You can't flex it this late, right?
6-day notice for Sunday Night Football this part of the season.
Ooh, what do we have in Sunday Night Football?
Vikings, Cowboys.
Oh, you gotta flex that.
You rarely take the Cowboys out because they have such a big fan base.
You gotta take it out because you don't want to see the Vikings, bro. Like what?
Oh.
And both of them, neither one of them are going to the playoffs.
Cowboys just did the best game ever. Cowboys Chiefs was the highest rated regular season game ever.
Yeah, but that was on Thanksgiving,
I know.
and you're playing the Chiefs.
But some exec who's in charge of this stuff is going to be like, there's no way you're taking my Cowboys, the ratings kings, out of this game. From a football standpoint, it makes nothing but sense to make this Broncos Packers, which then they'll really lead into the Super Bowl preview concept. But
I think it'll get a flex.
Someone's money is going to get in the way.
You give the Cowboys a 425 game. Still national television.
What does NBC want? NBC only cares about NBC.
Do they know ball, or do they just... I don't know. I don't know what NBC is all about over there.
So then the other piece is that like CBS and Fox each, I believe, get to protect one game. So they say this is on our network. So the CBS games, so Broncos are one of them, obviously. You also have Baltimore, Cincinnati.
Okay, it's a good game.
Chargers, Chiefs. Bills, Patriots.
Oh, you got to put Bills, either Broncos, Packers, or Bills, Patriots.
Wow.
Pretty good.
So that's a win-win for them.
Right, like they have some options.
But Bills, Patriots in the morning.
I think you can still flex it.
You could still.
So they say you can flex Sunday afternoon games.
They said they already announced. I believe they mean Nance afternoon and Romo East Coast. Packers, Broncos.
That's all the games.
Right, except for Thursday, Sunday night. You know. So we'll see though, because I think that there are some interesting decisions, and it'd be fun to be in the meeting room.
Okay, well, people are in the chat are saying it's too late to flex, but I'm trusting that you did your research on this.
Yeah,
I mean, it is too late to flex because Nance and Romo got the Broncos Packers game, so they're not flexing them out. So it would have to be you have to do Patriots Bills.
Okay.
I'll just say from NFL.com 2025 flexible scheduling procedures and scheduling. For Sunday Night Football in weeks 14 to 17, the flexible scheduling decision will generally be made no later than 6 days prior to the game. Today is 7, tomorrow is 6.
It'll happen tonight or tomorrow morning.
So one of Bills, Patriots, or Broncos, Packers has to be it.
You can't flex it from Nance and Romo though. That's like a.
But you.
That's their best crew.
That's true because then you couldn't. It's not like you could then move Bills, Patriots to 11 or to the 225 slot.
Yeah, no.
It's tough. I did put together top 10 Broncos though.
Okay.
And I don't think this won't be too controversial other than I included Alex Singleton, which always pisses some group of people off.
It's going to be controversial for sure because I always have some takes with yours.
Yes. Number 10, Malcolm Roach. Had the sack, but also was just like generally productive. With DJ Jones out, became a little bit more important. Combination of like a splash play with consistent, that gets you on the list, although at number 10. Number 9, Alex Singleton. Once again, your leading tackler. A couple pops at the line of scrimmage that stopped Genty from moving forward. Wouldn't call it like an exceptional game, but enough to make the list. Number 8.
Really quiet game from Alex.
Right.
Not a lot of good or bad. He was just doing his thing.
Number 8, we've got Jaleel. Again, not like an overwhelmingly positive game. I was kind of surprised there weren't more guys with just like huge numbers, but then you think back and it kind of makes sense.
It was a quiet game.
4 carries for 22 yards, ran really well, had a 9-yard catch. having that efficiency from your second running back takes the burden off the first running back a little bit. You don't feel like you're pushing him. I thought Jaleel looked as sharp as we've seen so far this season.
Here's my first issue with the list.
Okay.
I don't feel like as much was asked of him as was
Fair.
the last two guys.
Fair.
So I would have put him 10 and moved each of the other guys up a slot.
They're probably right. Number 7, JFM. Obviously, the sack is awesome, but like Singleton, just those pops at the line of scrimmage where he's making a tackle. Particularly, there was one when the Raiders were way backed up near their own end zone. I just thought, again, really good, solid, clean game from JFM.
All right.
Every time we talk about JFM, we don't need to like turn the page to free agency, but your mind just goes there every time. You're like, it's going to suck if they don't have him.
Yeah, he's playing his way out of here. It's okay.
He is. Number 6, splitting hairs, but 4 targets, 4 catches, 32 yards in some big moments. Pat Bryant. For a guy with 32 yards, this might be too high, but just the efficiency and...
It's perfectly well placed.
Okay.
Yeah,
No bias there either.
My favorite play was when it was scramble drill and he just ran to green grass. Bose just saw him, waiting for him to turn around, turned around just in time. That was awesome.
They're having quite the connection over like the last month of the season, or ever since the Cowboys game. I just feel like they're
locked in.
They are locked in, and the strike route that Pat Bryant ran, that one step slant. Number one, you have to have a lot of trust as a quarterback to. That's a run pass option and that play from under center. You have to have a good look. You also have to throw a missile because the linebackers are right there, and Pat just runs through the ball like it's just easy for him.
And Bo put it probably the worst place you could put it on that route, which is high.
Yeah.
And he still made the play, didn't get punched out, didn't go, careening off his hands for a pick.
Yep.
Just stick him.
Love to see it.
Number 5, Cortland Sutton. Again, just in big moments, made plays. Also, the leading receiver with 62 yards. Court had the kind of game that if he has every week, we just get to say yep, just there's Cortland.
Yep.
Easy 1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Productive, efficient. Comes through on some third down. Just good, clean game. Exactly what you hope to get from Court.
Do you guys feel like Cortland's game has expanded this year? Because I feel like things that I've never seen from him before, more so at the line of scrimmage, just with his releases have just been. I just think it's been on a different level than I've ever seen him. Like he's always been comfortable and he's always had great talent and ability, but I think his releases at the line of scrimmage is something I've never seen out of his game before that I thought has been really nice addition.
If you feel that way, I feel that way.
That's a good rule. Number 4, Nick Benito. Couple more sacks, just that speed off the edge. He is so good, and I don't think we've
He's
even
number 4.
What?
He's number 4.
Number 4.
Whew.
I can't wait to see who 1 through 3 is.
I'm gonna be asking a lot of the top 3.
Number 3, Marvin Mims. The punt return touchdown, and in that moment too, where every punt return touchdown's a big one, and the Broncos looked really good on offense the entire game. So it's easy to just be like, yeah, they probably would have gone down the field and gotten points anyway. But for him,
pressure off the whole game.
What?
It took the pressure off the whole game. It was
Exactly.
Just okay, we're gonna win.
Yep, just we're up 14-7 now. Boom. No stress there. Whatever you had planned for that drive, you get to save, and then they go up 20. That touchdown was the spark that led them to a big one. As Sean Payton said after the game, 80% of the time, if you score on special teams, you're going to win.
Oh, man, I wish you didn't say that, because if you had just taken one breath, I was going to say, I bet Sean Payton has some stat about punt returns.
Yep. And he does. And nobody will ever check if it's on the money.
That's your job.
Right. Right. I have a lot of jobs here. Number 2, RJ Harvey. Just the consistent production. Again, it's tough to figure out where to place him. If this was a helmet stickers list, he'd be number 1 on my helmet stickers list. I'd say, boom. That was a corner that RJ turned today.
Yep.
And you get to start looking at him in almost a different light, because you do know that it's possible for him to get the ball 17 times and to be consistent and productive.
23 touches.
Right. Like that's bell cow stuff.
Yes.
And it worked well. Again, some of it is the Raiders. You don't need to have perfect vision when you're just running duo or whatever, and you're just pushing the entire defense back, and there's this massive V, and you're just like, yep, I'm just going to follow the space and go pick up 5 yards. And that was half the carries. It's just easy. But there were enough flashes where you're like, oh, he saw something that I would not have seen just watching on TV. And that's what made J.K. Dobbins special, and that's what you need to see from RJ down the stretch, because all the physical tools are there. So I'm fired up. They needed him today, and he delivered. Number one, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah, gotta be.
31 of 38, 212 yards. It's one of those games. Who's that? The Solak, that guy on Twitter who's always angry about Bo because he said he was bad once, and so he has to stick to it. You get to look at this and say like, oh, 212 yards, but it took 38 passes, and so the 5.6 yards per attempt, nothing special. It's like I think he's like an 89 passer rating. But again, like we know how that works because for every 15 passes, they expect you to have a passing touchdown. So when you don't have the passing touchdown, you throw the ball 38 times. Like there are flaws in stats, and one of the flaws is you don't get to see that Bo is just clinical. Like I think this is the third time in his career he completed 82% of his passes. Falcons game last year, Chiefs game last year against the backups. Like he was just so precise, so clinical. I mean, that's exactly what you want from a quarterback when you're going up against a team that's as bad as the Raiders are.
All right, Benny. What's your note? I saw a face like you had a note.
Yeah, I would say Nick Bonito would be my number one. Okay. 2 sacks, best player on the team, just completely dominant. For this game, I would put Marvin Mims at number 2.
Okay.
Return TD for a touchdown, keeps the offense off the field, completely changes the game. Like you said, RK, completely puts him in control. Then I would put Bo Nix at 3. I thought Cortland Sutton was in the right spot. Pat Bryant was in the right spot. Can we throw the list back up there?
You'd have Harvey 4.
I did disrespect Adam Prentice.
Adam Prentice.
33 yards on 3 touches on top of like the actual thing that matters for a fullback, which is the blocking.
Elite efficiency.
Right.
I'm surprised Hufungo didn't have a crazy game, but he's just always all over the field erasing things that I would put him in there over Singleton. Just because he's saving some people, or like if there's a bust in coverage, like he's the one to come in and make the play, but I'm crying over spilt milk right there. The
reason I decided, because he was very much in that Singleton conversation, the reason I didn't include him was that touchdown late in the game. It's Riley Moss in coverage, and he thinks he has help inside. And if he's right and he's supposed to have help inside, then that help's supposed to be Hufunga. And so, like, there's a lot of conjecture there.
Who do you believe, though? Do you believe Hufunga more, or do you believe Riley more? Because Riley might have just been saying that because it was, you're on TV. Peyton used to do that to us sometimes. He would cuss us out on the field, but then say sorry when we got to the sideline when there was no cameras on us.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
That is insane, and I love it.
The reason I err on the side of Riley on
He's
this
like, sorry, I just needed the broadcast to say it was your fault that I threw
he just
that
knows
pick.
he doesn't say the broadcast, but you just know that he's cussing you out like, hey, what was that? And then he's like, I missed you there.
That's hilarious.
The reason I err on the side of Riley on that one is Ufunga's, when you play, I think that was cover 1, he has a tendency to freelance, which is a good thing. Like, it's part of the reason you like him. But that tendency is why when Riley turns around, is like, doing what?
Yeah.
I'm willing to trust those instincts. But I could be wrong, and if that's the case, Ufunga could just as easily be on this list.
I'm just thinking about, like, there's probably multiple times I was watching the game, and I was like, Benny, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
And they're like, how do you know it's Benny? I was like, well, if Peyton said it, then he's definitely right.
And you're like, Peyton's like, oh, nah, bro. Like, that's my bad. Like,
oh, that's awesome. Did we ever get an explanation on cleaning house? Damn.
They dipped right after you asked.
They're like, shit, I meant run the table. I confused mine. Because that was all I was thinking is like, one of the contexts they said it in, I was like, oh, I think they mean running the table.
Cleaning house. Like, hey, we're going to get rid of everybody?
Everyone's getting fired. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Let's hit a break here, and then we'll talk to our guy, Zach Stevens, on the other side. Good list, Henry. We can nitpick a little bit, but overall, good list.
Hank, I always think you do a great job, bro.
Now find out if that 80% stat is right.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Shout out to our friends over at Taco Bell, man. I did have myself some victory Taco Bell last Sunday night, and this is a big development because Taco Bell's been bringing us food on Tuesdays and kind of like saying like, hey, you should try this, you should try that. And if it weren't for that, I probably just would have gone the rest of my life without ever changing my Taco Bell order. But the steak and poblano rolled quesadilla has earned its way into my order as it did
Fire.
the other night. It's so good. Speaking of fire, I was getting accosted for adding 6 fire sauces to my order. And I think 3 sauces per item is a very fair ratio. Anyways, shout out to our friends over at Taco Bell and the fire roasted poblano peppers with the marinated steak, the melty cheese, and the flavorful spicy ranch sauce in that roasted poblano rolled quesadilla with steak. Just one of the many amazing things that makes Taco Bell the GOAT. So get over to Taco Bell, and I think you might still be able to get in on a Buffs box for just $7 with 4 Taco Bell classics and a player collectible cup. Live Moss at Taco Bell.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Shopify. We at DNVR are Shopify users, so all of you who buy our beautiful merch, which you should still go do now, even though it is full price, but still buy it. We use Shopify, and that means that if you've bought it, you've used Shopify as well. Shopify is everywhere. You don't realize that just about everything that happens on the internet, Shopify related, and that's why if you're not using Shopify as a business, you should. 10% of all e-commerce in the US, millions of businesses all go through Shopify. So whatever you're trying to do, whether you're like creating the website, designing product descriptions, email marketing, social media marketing, so much more, they've got all the tools, and they also have AI tools to help you maximize it, make everything easy on you. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify, turn your big business idea into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial. Start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. That's all one word, all city. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. All right. Speaking of sounds, I have not heard the sound that I normally hear when Zach is here. So, we have an update. We need to pass anything along to the viewers. We're just waiting on him. All right.
I believe the Broncos could clinch a playoff spot next week.
I thought they could, not this week?
I don't think so. Because if you look at the stand, so the Broncos have 2 losses. So right now, 7 seed, of course, the Colts have 5 losses. To miss the playoffs, one of the teams outside the playoffs would have to pass you. And right now, you have the Texans with 5 losses, the Chiefs with 6 losses. So the Broncos could lose up to 6 games. So I would imagine if they just win next week, they could only lose 5 total games. So if the Texans lose 1, then they would be in.
Okay.
But maybe there's some weird path that I'm not aware of. Maybe there's like a tiebreaker in there.
We're not worried about that shit.
Okay.
But thank you.
Yeah, Broncos are going.
Yeah. We're going to win the division.
Home playoff game is going to be crazy.
I know. We're going to have to
Are you
really
gonna
figure
go?
out the logistics of that. I cannot miss a home playoff game. Like, I got to be there. That is, like, I live my life for the feeling that you get when you enter the stadium in a home playoff game. And we haven't had it with the Broncos in over a decade. I just can't not be there. So we'll figure something out. But, yes.
So I obviously would love to be at a home playoff game. I also have been to incredible playoff games in the past, including wins over Tom Brady in AFC Championship games. And if push came to shove and somebody needed to stay behind, I would be willing to stay behind in exchange for future considerations.
I think that we just agree to just do a later post-game show that day.
Okay.
Might get some pushback from management, but that's my original thought. Anyways,
I'm not going to go to the game because I don't bring any.
That is true.
I don't bring
That
any
is
good
true.
luck to the games.
2-0 in those games. Just saying. But you're right.
Yes, once I leave.
All right, we do have Zach now. Let's bring him in from Las Vegas. Minutes away from hitting the tables, but he's taking a few minutes for us here to talk to us, man. Zach, what's going on, brother?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'd be on the table.
Can't hear Zach. Wait.
Can the people hear him, or can we just not hear him? All right, you can go ahead and talk.
All right. Here we go. I'm just going to keep talking. Okay. If I was hitting the tables tonight and had the same odds that the Broncos do to make the playoffs, I would never get off the tables because the Broncos have a 99.8% chance to make the playoffs. They have almost a 90% chance to win the AFC, and all they do is win. And that is what they're doing against the Raiders, guys. A 4-game win streak. Remember that the Broncos had an 8-game losing streak against the Raiders. That is so far in the past now. An 8-game win or 4-game win streak against the Raiders. Now 10 straight. And that is a big theme in the locker room after this game, is just how impressive that is. And I like that the players are understanding how tough this is, what they're doing right now. Bo said, we got to 11. It's more than we had last year, and we want more. And that's exactly what the Broncos locker room feeling is. This was a very, very workmanlike locker room after the game. Like, yep, we did what we needed to do. Check that off. Now let's go to Green Bay. In fact, Sean Payton and some players in the locker room were already talking about Green Bay and just how they're not scared of them and how that is a test, but that experienced already. And guys, that's exactly what this Raiders game was. This was an easy win for the Broncos. They controlled the game for 3 quarters after just a little sloppy first quarter by the defense. The defense stepped up, dominated the rest of the way. I know it was 7 points, and congratulations to Vegas for covering the spread and hitting the over with that last-second field goal. But the Broncos, I mean, they dominated this game, and they know it. The offense, guys, this is nearly an ideal offensive performance from the Broncos, not stat-wise, but just how they looked, guys. Bo Nix, you can't look at the stats. He had a fantastic game. Over 80% completion, which, by the way, is a career high for him in the NFL. He was slinging it. Somehow he doesn't end up with a touchdown pass, which is absolutely crazy. He really manipulated the pocket well, and I thought he said something very, very, very telling after the game. He said, essentially, in these past 3 games, I've been feeling really good with seeing the field in my vision, and that should scare the hell out of every team in the AFC because the Broncos were on a 7-game win streak until he felt like he was starting to feel the field and vision well. Now he's feeling that, and we're seeing it play out on the field. That is a very scary sign because not just Bo Nix is heating up. Guys, the theme after the game was R.J. Harvey. This was his breakout game, and everyone gave him props for the type of game he played. Sean Payton just kept going on just about how he is really developing, how he's stepping into the big hole that J.K. Dobbins left, and how he's doing a great job. And I loved that I was proven right, that he is going to be able to get it done on the ground because that is what we saw, and that's what I was so happy to see. Yes, he was really good out of the backfield, and he always has that. In fact, Bo said, that's the best part of his game, but I'm so glad that we saw an efficient runner running in between the tackles, that touchdown run, that 15-yard run that he had. And then how about that catch that he had on the first drive? I think that was kind of like the momentum of the game for the Broncos offense, where he catches it behind the line of scrimmage, breaks the tackle. Players just couldn't go off on R.J. Harvey enough. R.J. Harvey and the locker room after because of just how tough he played. And he is going to be so, so key for this Broncos team moving forward. So great vibes in after the win. But guys, it really they did what they had to do. It's kind of workmanlike. They got this done. Now it's on to a final 4-game stretch, which is not easy, but they did what they had to do, and they secured that tiebreaker with the New England Patriots. The Broncos control their own destiny, and as we all know, specifically Benny knows, that is the best place to be for an organization in December.
Zach, man, curious. They talked about, they're already moved on to Green Bay?
Yep, 100%. They're already moved on to Green Bay while not overlooking anyone. Now, what I'll say, Benny, and what was very telling, too, about specifically not overlooking the Raiders, Sean Payton was pissed at himself, at the players, at the organization for the way the offense handled that first game against the Raiders. During the week, he said it was an awful game plan that they had going in. After the win today, he pointed to that game multiple times, and you could tell it was just such a relief that he had that the Raiders didn't have his number on the offensive side of the ball. So that's how they made sure to not overlook this game. When your head man wants to make sure that the offense looks good, he's going to make sure that happens, and everyone's going to follow. So that's how they did not overlook the Raiders. But you could tell quickly, okay, we got this in the bag. We can start looking forward, especially in the fourth quarter when it's really a 17-point game. The Broncos have it in the bag, give up some garbage time stuff. Nick Bonito said we need to be better at finishing. Sure, but that game was truly never in doubt, even though it did get to a one-possession game at the end. It just helps the Broncos' record in one-possession games. But, yeah, Benny, they are already looking toward the Green Bay Packers, and Bo was asked about that, and he said they're tough, it's a good matchup, but it's nothing that we haven't encountered already this year.
So if they've moved on to the Packers, that would mean that they are not staying in Las Vegas tonight. Is that correct?
Oh, you are very right about that, Ryan. Yeah, they are they're boarding their charter right now to get home. If the Super Bowl were here this year, then Sean would allow them to stay in Vegas after that sort of win. But no, not tonight.
That's great.
Although they did stay on the Strip last night, from what I understand.
What they probably stayed at I forgot what we stayed. They probably stayed at the Encore. That's where we stayed when I was playing with Sean. That he likes that hotel.
It wasn't that one, but Benny, I think he'll want to stay at that one from what I heard about their experience last night.
Oh no.
But they didn't have the 14 reasons why Sean was pissed, because of course that was one of the reasons why Sean was pissed after their joint practice against the 49ers earlier this year, was because the hotel was next to a concert venue that was going until 3 a.m. Despite that, the Broncos still looked really good today.
Zach, there were a few lapses in the defense today. What did the defense, besides Nick Bonito, what are the defensive players saying about, the points that have been scored on them as of late, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, essentially it was just that first drive that people were focused on. And I'm sure, and Sean did say after, there are going to be things that we're upset about and need to fix. Sean was not happy with the delay of game that the Broncos had later, very late in the game right there. But it was just on that first drive, and there was nothing specific they pointed to. Just maybe not dialed in enough to start the game, because Geno Smith looked good. I'll tell you what, though, from my observations, what I saw, and maybe I'll be able to dig into this later more as the week goes on, what I saw is Vance Joseph just trusted the front guys to get after Geno Smith on that first drive, and for whatever reason, the Raiders were able to control the Broncos pass rush that first drive. Geno had all the time in the world, and Geno was perfect on that drive, I believe 6 for 6, and that really helped. The next drive, Vance said, I don't care that I'm in Las Vegas. I'm cranking up the heat on this, on Geno Smith, and boy, when the pressure got there, Geno Smith absolutely crumbled, and then we see that he leaves the game for the rest of the game. So I really think the key was just turning up the pressure, and then Nick Bonito started to really turn it on in the second half, ends up with 2 sacks, guys. He's up to 12 and a half sacks. He is going to shatter his single season record of sacks, which he set just last year with that 13 mark. He is going to break that with the next 4 games, and he's going to break it in a big way. So it just maybe a lack of focus. I'm not exactly sure what happened on that first drive, but really after that, the defense just absolutely shut them out.
Last one for me, Zach. Just what was the atmosphere like there in Vegas?
Oh my gosh, so many Broncos fans. Guys, this was a home game. It was funny. We were talking in the media beforehand, before fans started trickling in. And someone said, do you think there'll be more Broncos fans here? And I said, I do think so. And then someone jumped in and said, well, typically we kind of overrate how many Broncos fans are truly at an away game. And I'm like, okay, maybe. And then about midway through the first quarter, that person looked at me and said, no, you're right. There's definitely more Broncos fans here. It was insane. Like it felt like a home crowd. Now they, have the band going on. So when the Raiders scored or made a stop, there was definitely noise for the Raiders. But for the most part, it was a sea of orange here. The only black you saw was just empty chairs where maybe Raiders fans didn't come. This was a very, very pro Broncos crowd here today.
Zach, great to see you, my brother.
Great to see you too, fellas. And what couple of things before I get out of here. We heard Mike McGlinchey talk about RJ Harvey, and he said that he praised him. I can't remember the exact quote, but something like he brought an ass whooping to the game, this game. So the Broncos are very proud of the way the rookie stepped up. And how about Marvin Mims? I have to give him a shout out. That punt return was absolutely huge. That's what changed the game. From there on out, it was like, okay, the Broncos aren't going to lose this game. When you get a special teams touchdown, that is absolutely huge. And you guys saw him hit the mile-high salute in the end zone. He said the reason for that is his teammates call him Mile High Marv. And so he's been saving that for the right situation, for where Broncos fans were going to be. That gives you an indication of just how many Broncos fans were here. And then he hit the salute. He's been wanting to do it. His teammates have been wanting him to do it. So really, really cool. When you're able to hit a mile-high salute in Las Vegas in front of the Raiders, but really a Broncos crowd, that's how this game went. The Broncos really controlled this from 45, 50 minutes left in the game. They just dominated. Workmanlike, get that tick off. They have the number 1 seed, and they own that tiebreaker with the Patriots. And now we're on to Green Bay, where the Broncos aren't scared of them.
10 in a row. Big game for Bo Nix. Before you get out of there, make sure you at least put 10 on 10.
Oh, I like that. What game is that? Roulette. Okay. I'll store that away. I'll head there right now.
All right. Later, Zach.
See you.
Safe travels to Zach on his way home. All right. Let's do it. Let's get to Super Chats and get out of here. By the way, we are way too low on likes for a 10-game winning streak. Run up these likes.
Yes,
Yeah,
run it up. Run
really
it up.
Should be 100 for each win. We're gonna get to 1,000 somehow. We have to really run it up right now. All right, first super chat from our guy John Lane, 1999. Thank you very much. These socks are still winning, baby. May need a shadow box or something for them one day. That's 10 in a row. Keep rocking those shoes, RK. Love you guys. Yes, sir. 10 wins in these bad boys too.
Let's go.
I don't know when the Broncos get to the Super Bowl, we're gonna have to meet up and harness the power of the socks and the shoes all together at once to push the Broncos across the line.
Love it. Love it. I love the superstition. And we've been sitting all in the same seats.
Yep, exactly.
Do we bring the chairs to the Super Bowl?
Watch along from... I actually was thinking about this the other day. I'll make this quick, but... So I was saying, home game, Broncos, home playoff game, I want to be there. But I have to remember my own words from when I was in the stadium for the Super Bowl last year. And I said to myself, if the Broncos were in the Super Bowl, I think I'd rather be at the DNVR bar.
Super Bowls aren't. I mean, I was at the Super Bowl last year, and it just wasn't a great atmosphere.
Weird atmosphere.
Yeah, it's because it's not everybody, not all the fans from the teams are going. It's very corporate.
Yeah, and even then, they're not the real ones.
Yeah.
Not that having money necessarily makes you not a good fan. There certainly are some of the real ones, but there's a lot more great fans who are just simply priced out.
Yeah.
Speaking of the DNVR bar, maybe the best crowd I've seen for a Broncos game at the DNVR bar today. So between that and what Zach was saying about Vegas, Broncos Country's all the way in right now,
100%.
which is awesome. And
this next month you're going to see, I think, even more crazy support.
We're getting to that point. I remember being in college when just everyone that went to see you was just wearing Broncos gear, even if they weren't from here, because it was just cool. Sunday afternoons, even if you were from California, you were going to watch the Broncos game at someone's house because that's just what everyone was doing in Colorado. I think
that's fire.
We're there.
Mm-hmm. The weird thing is, I think it takes time to buy in to this particular team because when the Broncos have won championships in the past, it's been the culmination.
You're right.
Obviously the first Super Bowl, it's the end of John Elway's career, but the entire time you're thinking, can John do it? Can John do it? And then when it happens, it's the end. And they do it twice, and then it's it. And it's that's the end of the era. Peyton, obviously the same thing. It's his last year. After a few tries, it's the end. And there's this build. Whereas if the Broncos were to do it this year, it would not be the end of some big
You're right.
build.
Yeah.
It would just be, we won the Super Bowl. That's really cool. And now we're still the exact same Broncos as we have been. There isn't this huge identity change that comes after the culmination. I think because of that, Broncos fans are conditioned to thinking that's how you win Super Bowls, is this long, slow, arduous grind and build. When you look around, and that's not always how it goes.
Yeah, but 10 wins in a row is going to fill a bar, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
All right, from We Do Things 365. I was at the game. It was probably about 45 to 55% Broncos fans. Not really loud at all, but Broncos fans made some noise in key moments. I love a good, boring, easy win. I think that's the phrase of the day.
Yeah.
Boring, easy win, but boy, are those nice.
I mean, that shows that you're dominant. That shows that you're the better team, the more talented team. You got the better coaching staff. You got the better players.
Yep. I already got my thrill of the day from that Shedeur Sanders parlay. So. From Josh Driver, 5036. Good team win all 3 phases. Your real expectations for the next 4 games, though. Houston dub tonight. Love you guys. Go Broncos. Oh, man, that game's about to start. I don't even have any bets out on it.
And I love you too. And yeah, all 3 phases. Next 4 games. I say Broncos 3-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say my expectation is 3-1. But I don't know why I'm saying that. Like, I'm gonna pick them to win all 4. So I guess my expectation is 4-0.
Yeah, I think 3-1, 2-2.
Next one from Greg's 6682. Tough finish to our schedule coming up. We needed to click on all 3 sides for an entire game before the season's over. Love the show, y'all. Very true. This was a 3-phase win.
As long as I think the Broncos, if they continue to have games like that, solid passing game, solid running game, big plays on special teams. Yeah, you can win a lot of games like that. You can win games in January and February too.
Next one from Brendan Lindley. RJ Harvey looked good running in between the tackles today. Facts. One of the big takeaways of the game. Next one's from the Blind Swordsman. I know it's just the Raiders, but the Broncos are a top team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no fraud team wins 10 in a row. It's just not possible. Danimal says we may have just secured Pete Carroll's firing and maybe looking at Seattle for the Super Bowl. I did not have Exercising the Demons of 2013 on my 2025 bingo card. Yeah, Pete Carroll, man, just hang it up.
Yes,
he looks confused out there, man. He looks scared and confused.
The days are getting long. Those meetings are getting longer for him.
I just, it's almost sad to see.
Yeah.
Oh. That noise out of context is crazy. All right, next one's from Uncle Rico's Revenge, 5280. Best case scenario, Baltimore, Buffalo, and KC miss the playoffs. We get a gauntlet of Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Houston, and Indy. The stars are aligning, boys. Yep, I do not care about some, like, beat the best to be the best shit. Just win. I don't care who you play. From Dogger Deluxe. Improving on penalties. 5 this week and last week, going from over 8 a game. Hats off to Riley. Impressed by his growth. Break the narrative with the officials before January. LFB cheers. I think it was 8 today, unfortunately. My stats from earlier would indicate that it was 8 today. All right, last one from Brosif. Just here to advocate for stealing Nick from Mile High Huddle. Yeah, shout out to Nick for joining us on the watch long today. It was fun.
Yeah, great dude.
I wanted him to. So the reason I wanted him on the watch long, well, I wanted him on the watch long because we've known each other through Twitter for a long time, and he just moved to Denver, so we figured we'd get him over here. But his tweets during games are usually very animated, so I thought we would get an animated Nick, but I think he was a little bit, holding it in today.
Getting to know us.
Yeah,
Getting to know us in person.
Exactly. All right, we are 2 minutes and 45 seconds away from kickoff and Sunday Night Football. Perfect timing, I would say, here on the show. Oh, yeah, and perfect timing.
So what you doing? Yeah.
Shout out to you guys for tuning in.
Perfect
shout out
timing.
to the Broncos.
Shout out to Williams Jewelers.
There you go. And shout out to everyone who came to the bar and made it a great atmosphere in here today. 10 in a row, number 1 seed in the AFC. The Broncos roll again. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.